the tallest one I've ever cut was 13 and a half feet tall.
Holy. Going back to Cameron, he always asks, have you ever wondered? But today I want to ask, have you ever wandered through a field of sunflowers? Today, we're going to have a chance to learn more about sunflowers as well as some other agribusiness with Bethany Gotts. She's the owner, manager, as well as many, many more things over at Quey's Maize. She's a farmer, business owner, advocate for agriculture. Bethany, welcome to the podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So yeah, I've just only been farming for about 9 years now. I took over my father's farm. I am a fourth generation Idaho farmer, and I am just incredibly blessed to have this piece of property here. We're right next to the Bruno Sand Dune State Park and the Snake River, and it's just what a life. My goodness, how did I look into this?
So I think, Bethany, that's where I wanted to start this. You know, people that know of a strawberry farm know what strawberries do. You send them to the grocery store. People that have a pumpkin patch have pumpkin pie, or they have, or they're gonna have, jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween. Can you tell people where did the sunflowers go? You're gonna raise sunflowers. What are some of the uses? And then maybe we'll dig into that a little bit.
Sure. So the main uses of sunflowers, first and foremost, in my book, are enjoyment, just happiness and joy. And then second, the seeds. The seeds are wonderful protein, and people use them mainly for bird feed, and then second for some other animal feeds because they are great in protein and fiber. That's what I use my sunflower seeds for. I should say, in most agriculture though, the sunflower seeds, especially down around our area, are grown and used for oil, so for sunflower oil. Because of the way that my father had run the corn maze and pumpkin patch, I had no problem setting it up and having people come and visit the sunflowers. But there was definitely a learning curve of how do I grow sunflowers and how do I manage them well, not just planting, but planting, growing, weeding, fertilizing, watering, all the way up to harvesting and keeping them well after you do harvest them, and then drying them down and harvesting the seeds also. So there are two harvests in my book here: the sunflower, the flower head itself, just for the bloom, and then if you go past that, you don't cut the sunflower, you leave it and you get the seeds later. And so I had to learn a whole lot. Luckily, sunflowers are very easy to grow. Most anyone can grow them, especially here in southern Idaho, because they just love the heat. And so they just need to be planted in the soil about an inch and a half down, and then put some water on them, make sure the weeds don't overtake them, and they're fantastic. So I got really lucky to choose to grow sunflowers.
So Bethany, at the beginning of the podcast, you said that it's also grown for happiness. I like that you said that. Can you tell us about two questions, actually? One is, what kind of people come to sunflower farms? And then the second thing is, what's their reaction when they come?
Oh, that's something I love. So the people that come are normally women, and it's normally women, I would say teenagers and up. Younger kids, they're like, oh, a big flower, and then they kind of lose interest. But people who are a little bit older, I would say it's great for 12 years plus. They really, really enjoy the beauty of the sunflowers. And I'd say all demographics. There haven't been anyone that has come to the sunflower in a patch and has not been impressed. But my favorite are local farmers around here who hear that I have a sunflower field, and their wife brings them to it, and they're like, oh, I'm here to watch, see the sunflowers, whatever. And they walk into the patch, and about 30 minutes later they come out and they're like, this is amazing. And they have a huge smile on their face, and they're like, I never knew there were so many different types of sunflowers. This is so great. So I love seeing that. I love seeing the men that were skeptical of seeing a field of flowers just come out being amazed. It's fantastic.
Those grumpy old guys, it's pretty cool to see their hearts melt, huh?
It is, yes.
Okay. Sunflowers. You've talked about some of your hybrid varieties. I need to know, how tall is your tallest sunflower?
Yes. So this year I got my hands on some giant mammoth. They are called white mammoth because the seeds are white and the seeds were about an inch long. They're pretty unique. And they are supposed to grow 12 to 15 feet tall. But on my own hybrid variety here, they normally grow 10 feet tall. And so I've stretched, when they get the head on them, they'll start to droop a little bit, but I cut the tallest one I've ever cut was 13 and a half feet tall.
Holy.
Wow.
It's pretty fun because especially the kids that come to the sunflowers, they always want the tallest, biggest one. And at our sunflower patch, we let people pick the sunflowers so they can actually take it home with them. And that just thrills people to no end that they can actually not just see these wonderful sunflowers in full bloom, but they can pick them and take them home with them.
Bethany, if people wanted to see your posts on Instagram, where do they find you?
At Quey's Maze. Quey's Queys Maze, Maze.
Thanks again for joining us at the Dirt Road Discussion Podcast, and we will see you down the road.